Hey, happy February, beautiful people. It's Andrew the Realtor here with my February 2023 housing market update. And this one is actually particularly important. Some of the folks that watch this actually have been getting a lot more viewings of this than ever. Possibly this one will go over 1,000 views. Past few have been in the high six, 700s. Anyway, some of you don't always watch all this, but I highly recommend you do this one. I am going to be contrasting a lot of the stuff that is actually happening in the market, what I'm seeing in the market versus what you're seeing pop up on your phone, on your news media, online, and on TV. I want you to have the real stats, the actual numbers of the market, and I'm really going to be, I'm not say hammering, but I'm really emphasizing on the buyer side right now. But sellers, stay tuned. At the very end, I'm going to give you a couple of particularly important tips right now in this market that I know I see a lot of sellers and some of my clients who see properties have told me some issues they're seeing that sellers are doing right now that you can easily fix, and especially if you have the right professional to help you with. So, guys, without further ado, let's get right into this. So, I'm going to minimize myself here a tad. And here we are. So as always, I'm trying to provide value, and in these cases, more and more people I'm noticing are noticing the value. I'm getting a lot of more not only openings on my emails, but of course on YouTube as well. And I highly recommend you guys check out some of my newer listings on there. So I want to provide value, and I'm really gonna do this time. Not everyone watches the whole video. I hope you do. Play it in the background or something. I'm telling you about the market. So please hit like and subscribe. It's at the bottom of the information of the video. Have a look. Please, you'll get nothing but this and possibly listing information if you're interested. But the most important thing is these housing market updates, honestly. I'll give you the actual information. Do with it what you will. Obviously, I'll give you my little slant on it. And also, I have a program that will notify everybody what your neighbor is selling for and what they sold for as well, which is important. I've seen a few of you folks click on that. I've seen a few new names that I didn't recognize on there, so which is really great. Take advantage. It's free. I don't bother people on it. You know, if you get a call from me, it's only because I want to make sure that that is correct and that kind of thing. So free service just for you guys. So first things first. And this was the public service announcement for me last time, and I recommend you guys take a look at this. If you live in Toronto, the deadline, as is typical, because they really caught a lot of people off guard with this. The deadline for the residential property owners who have not yet declared what their status of their house was last year, and this is again Toronto, you have till the end of the month now. Before it was February the 2nd, but you'll notice the change here. I made it in red so everyone can see it. The online portal is open until the end of February. So right now we're in the first week of February as I'm doing this. It was supposed to be 2nd of February. I mentioned this in the last update, and I did this with a lot of different updates that I've done to make sure you guys know. So it's important. I don't want you guys to get fined. Now, admittedly, because it's new, maybe you'll get away with something, but listen, don't push it, please. Have a look. It's a really quick thing. The link is at the bottom of the video, and it's on here as well, so you can kind of see where it's at. So that aside, that's important. Toronto people, please pay attention. So first things first, where the market is. And this is important because I'm going to give context, especially for buyers. Buyers, I'm really going to give you, if you're thinking of entering the market, especially on the buy side specifically, or if you're looking to sell, but inevitably you'll be buying something. I want you to be not only encouraged, I really kind of want to like a little bit of fire on your butt, if you will, respectfully. Because honestly, the timing right now is amazing. You know, I'll give you more about that. I'll kind of take you step by step. Stay with me, please. So numbers. This is year over year. So this is January last month versus January of 2022, which was fairly busy, fairly crazy. So homes sold, this is at this point a given. And the news has made a lot about this number 3,100, meaning that the last lower month in terms of sales was April of 2020, which is, of course, right after the COVID lockdowns began, which was the middle of March break, for those of you who have kids in school. March break, and we had the 2 weeks to stop the curve, or whatever it was, flatten the curve. I'll leave that alone. Average price is down 16.4%. But if you guys have been following this, I'm going to mention this on another graph over here, that is not a huge difference from what it's been since literally July of 22, last year. They had the big change in the first half of the year. June to July was the last major change in terms of drops. Market dropped 20 to 25%, depending on where you live, the specific area. And then what happened was from July to right now, beginning of February, price-wise, kind of the same. So a couple of interesting points coming up here. So that's why I put it in red. Obviously, that's lower than we would like in terms of sales. Price-wise, good for buyers, which is going to be an interesting theme for this video. But that's here. So active listings are much higher, hence the green here. It's always good to have active listings. Let's be honest. I'm happy when there's activity. I know for sellers, you want to have like one house in all of Toronto. competing with you so you can win and get a really high price. But realistically, you want inventory, you want a healthy market, and that's kind of what we have right now. This is actually a very pretty not a heavy, but a solid January in terms of active listings. This is how many properties are on the market, up 124% versus look at how low January of 22. That is very, very low, almost record low of 22. I think 2017 was lower than this. I think it was under 4,000, but don't quote me on that, please. That's very low. That was last year. Very, very low inventory. No wonder the prices were going crazy. Plus, the interest rates were still low. Very, very low then. So notice almost 10,000 active listings. You might remember still 20,000 is a balanced market. 2 months of inventory is nowhere near a buyer's market or even a balanced market. This is still technically a seller's market. Depends on what area, of course, as well. So average property days on market. This is the important one. Not the listing, but the property, because things get relisted. 41 days versus 18. Obviously a huge difference. And that's very normal. So this lots of inventory, longer days on the market will naturally tell you that the price is going to be lower. Sellers, please take note of that. I'm going to give you some advice towards the end of the video. Please listen to it. So here's the issue. Average price. Across the board, low, 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 low. So this is year over year. So they did go down a little bit in January. And I'll tell you one reason. First of all, because of the low number of sales, if you do math, if you're a stats person, low number of sales also means that you should take this with a grain of salt, as you should always do, because there's less inventory to measure, so to speak. If we had doubled the sales, for example, well, this would probably be a little more accurate. But as it stands, it was a slow month, generally speaking, and these numbers, again, need to be taken with a grain of salt because it's a smaller pool in terms of properties which you can measure and get an average price from. That said, detached, semis, detached especially, have been really taking a whooping. And that's the case, obviously, because they're the ones also inflated quite a bit because people were trying to buy detached properties. So that said, here's a ditty, and I didn't circle it, but I really should have. The condo prices went down 8%. Now, this is only January, specifically January versus January of 2022. But this is the first time that I've seen condos actually go down 8%. Is this significant? Not particularly, because it depends on who's selling in what area for this specific month. If this was a pattern, then you would notice this is a pattern. For example, detached has been down consistently, pretty much give or take the same numbers depending on the area since July. So, okay, that's not the best in terms of ownership. You want to, your value to start going up again, which it will. But condos have been up or even for quite a while. In fact, they were still going up as of, I think, last month, and now they're down, as of December, now they're down in January numbers. So the only thing to consider there is January was not a great month in terms of sellers. Now, I'll give you some theories specifically. Sellers gave up too quick. I saw this. They started to believe some of the stuff that the buyers are believing right now, meaning that market's going to go down, it's going to be bad, so I just want to sell now. I just want to cash out now. Guys, I'll give you stats, I'll give you graphs, I'll show you what the prices have been doing so you guys can make a better, if you're sellers, if you think of selling, maybe you're just selling, please look at the numbers, consider being patient with the market and not giving up. Hopefully you're in not a position of desperation. So month over month, one thing I wanted to notice is how minimal the overall change has been. This is January last month versus December of 22, the month before that. So month over month, not a huge difference in terms of price, not a huge difference in terms of sales. And I'm gonna give you some sales numbers that probably surprise you guys. It will probably surprise you guys. And again, here minimal here. The new listing is always this way because December we always sell more than we list, and in January obviously we're listing and we're selling less than we list. That's easy. Common sense, if you think about where the holidays are, that's the same case in every year. So overall, yes, the prices are down, but not that much further down than they were in July of last year. So it's been pretty steady. Something you might have never heard. They think, well, the market's gone down tremendously. Well, it did initially, but now it's been kind of the same. Onward. For those in Toronto, the very same ones that should be doing the vacant, the property status update that I talked about earlier. Notice how well Toronto is doing, generally speaking. Now, this is not news for some people, but I want to throw this out anyway. Notice a huge difference. This is houses. This is not condos, townhomes. This is houses specifically. But notice the difference. Toronto market, I'm telling you, Toronto property. I mean, even this will fix itself, and it will, believe me. Some of these were particularly outside the city, and they were like Brampton, Pickering. Some of these really got really high in the 2022, and of course, all the more space for them to fall. But still, this is year over year, and these prices have maintained about the same. Toronto's still amazing. It's quite amazing how well Toronto market is doing. So I want to first things first. So this is price, average price comparison. I made the line just for you guys so you have an idea of where we're at. This is important. I'm trying to show a theme here. The theme is this: prices are not coming down much more. They already came down in the beginning of last year, and they've been maintaining for the most part. Don't look for the house to be bottoming. Buyers, honestly, I'm really, really going to try to hammer this point to you guys. The market is not crashing. There's no bubble burst. If anything, the bubble, as I said last month, the bubble's on the demand side, on the buyer side. You buyers are going to eventually go, okay, it hasn't changed too much. The interest rates are not going to go up as per the bank. I really need to start getting on this because the inventory is out there and the prices are at a 2-year low. Watch this. Here are the prices. This is where we are right here. For the most part, this is the only month we have, obviously, of 2023. But look at 2022. Obviously, 22 were highs all across the board, except for December. That was the month before that. So price-wise, average price-wise, look how high this was before. Okay, that's the height of the market. Those are all records. That's fine. Look at 2021. 21 was a record year for the most part in terms of prices and sales. 21 is the blue. Started lower in January, then up, and predominantly above where we are right now. So 2021 prices, 2021, we're in 23. We're higher than the prices are right now. Buyers, please note, forget 22. 22 is way higher. 21, higher. You have to go back to 2020, which is the year that COVID really began in terms of being North America, a big deal in March, April of 2020. This is what everyone's comparing this month to. This is here. This is here. Notice the difference, though, in terms of price. Similar activity. This is about 2,900 sales, April of 2020, right after the lockdowns began. And this is last month, January 2023. Price. Look at the price difference. It's huge. So that's what's happened with the price. With the lockdowns, with all that stuff happening, with interest rate, historically fast interest rate hikes, and this is still what the market is doing. I really want to hammer this home because I've talked to people, even agents, that don't get this. They're still waiting for these kinds of prices. Guys, look, this is where we're at. And notice, please, what's been happening in terms of prices. Except for the green, this is where COVID comes in. The lockdowns, March break, 2 weeks to stop the curve. This is here. This is here. For the green. Blue, orange. Up and down a bit. Up and down a bit. Ending higher than they started. This is the pattern. This is the pattern every time. What is the pattern going to be now? You think it's going to go down significantly? You think it's going to maybe flatten out? You hope. Or is it possible also, equally possible perhaps, that it will start going up a little bit as the demand is strong and multiple offers happen, and there are a lot of them happening right now. In a crashing market in terms of price, would you say that multiple offers should happen at all? I would say no. Why are they happening so often? Maybe the market is pretty strong. Maybe the demand is pretty strong. Maybe more and more buyers are waking up. And as I often say, a lot of people will have the same great idea at the same time, and that's what pushes prices upwards. That's the prices. Onward. Let me move my stuff here. Average price in terms of just a graph. And 2018 I circled here because 2018 is where the last kind of slow year. So 2022 in terms of sales, give or take, was roughly about where 2018 was. 2018 was 78,000, I think, sales. 2022 was, I think, 75,000 sales. So very similar. But notice the price. My theme of this is prices are going up consistently. If they flatten out, if they go down at all, one should take advantage, don't you think? Have a look. Look at this. This is where we're at. Sincerely, considering the numbers, low inventory, immigration numbers that I've shown over the past and probably do next month, all the things that are happening, everything that has been thrown at the market so far, and we're here. Do you honestly think it's going to go back down here? Keep in mind that a lot of the same folks were complaining of these prices too. Never mind where we're at right now. Okay, so this is it. This blue line here, that's the MLS average price. That's what's been happening. And again, I hate to always look back to 1994, which is a little bit after we came to Canada from where I'm from. And this is where the prices of homes were on average here. Uncanny. This is where the market is going and has been going. Sales. You're going to tell me, okay, fine, Andrew, the prices, whatever, but sales. Sales are low. Sellers are going to inevitably start, getting a little more desperate. Prices are going to go down. Sales. It's all about sales. No one's selling. It's a dead market, right? It's dead as can be. I've heard realtors tell me this. Guys, watch this. In terms of numbers, I'm going to give you some stuff that I have here. So this is the month here in terms of sales, January. So obviously it's very low. But look what happens every single time. Every single time. It goes up. Always. Do you expect the sales to go down from January to February? considering the weather's getting better as per usual, and considering how things have been selling recently. Again, the pattern, with the exception of course, green, 2020. That's for COVID. Busy month. Lockdowns begin halfway through the month. April is the lowest in terms of sales we've seen in a very long time. Then it starts to go up again. And contrary to CMHC, numerous people are saying it's going to be a dead market. The market's going to crash. It's going to be horrible. June, July, record, both sales and price, by the way. That's what happened in 2020. And guys, I'm going to tell you something specific that you might not know. Hopefully this video doesn't get too long because of this. This time, where is it? These number of sales, not too dissimilar from April. That's what everyone on the news that I've seen in the past week have been comparing it to because they saw the numbers. Here's the thing. What happened here? In April, people like me and some others of 2020 were saying, buyers, buy. You need to buy. Inventory is there. Buy something now. Why were we saying that? Because all the rumors of interest rates going down, all the rumors of a high, strong, pent-up demand for home buying. And what happened? Only 2,900 buyers took our advice, or people's advice, or bought anything that month. What happened afterwards? More. And at this point, those buyers who waited, like maybe some of you are thinking about waiting and saying, oh, we're just going to wait for the market to go down. Oh, we're just going to wait for the price to go down just a little bit more. Those who didn't listen in April were fighting people in May, fighting more people in June, and by July and August, they're fighting 15, 20, 30, 40 offers on the house that they want. That's a miserable way of buying. Believe me, I dealt with a lot of those folks. We had to work very hard for this. Some of them didn't not wait here, just they started life in terms of selling over here, and it was an uphill battle. On the buy side, it was an uphill battle. So I'm just telling you, this position started going really crazy. And at the same thing I'm saying here, as I was saying back then, you might consider buying right now. That's sales. Let me tell you some stuff that you will not see anywhere else. Thanks for Rob Vivian, keeping track of the market. January 1st through 24th, so on average 91 sales per day. That's this month, last month. Okay? 91 sales per day on average. So it's not 91 every day, it's on average, okay? The first 24 days of this year. 25th is when the last interest rate hike was put in. We went up a quarter, the interest rates, and they said that they're not going to go up much more anymore. They're pausing it, as they should. They've already gone too, as far as I'm concerned, they've already gone too much. Too fast, way too fast. But after the interest rate hike, you would think the opposite. 137 sales per day for the rest of January. Now, I'm in the first week of February, so I'm only giving you the first 4 days because I want the actual stats. I want to give it a couple of days to kind of, for the paperwork and everything for realtors to bring it in. So from 91 to 137 per day, first 4 days of February, this month that you're watching this video, 170 sales average per day. 91. Interest rate hike, surely it's going to go down. 137, 170. So far, if we've discussed this, prices not likely to go down at all. If that's what you think, tell me why. You've seen the numbers in terms of inventory. Feel free to call me. I love having conversations. Believe me, I talk to people who are much more knowledgeable about other things and other markets and those kind of things than myself. But then I work with supply and demand and tell them about how strong the demand is. So we established price. I think I've established at least a way, at least a reason for you to give me a shout and talk to me as to, well, do you really think the price is going to go up, Andrew? Which I do. Now, this is sales. The market's dead. Nothing's happening, right? No, it's actually going up. So prices are going up and sales are going up, which means activity is going up. So if you're a buyer sitting on the fence, perhaps it's time to ever so comfortably hop off the fence, dust off your shoes, and perhaps go into the direction of actually looking at the market and buying something. Inventory is great. Prices are great. So let me address this. Rentals. What if you're maybe thinking, oh, Andrew, we're going to rent some more. Okay, if you're already in a rental, you already know there's rules as to how much they're going to increase the rent. It's 1% to 3%, something of that nature. But just FYI, this is what people are dealing with in terms of rentals. I had one client that I helped a rental with. We were on the market for a while, deal with a lot of buyers hesitating, just like maybe some of you are, and I'm trying to get you off the fence with proper, accurate information. But then we decided to list it for lease. 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, North York, $3,000 per month. I got it done in less than a week. Why? Well, you see, availability in fourth quarter of 2022, was much lower than quarter 4 of 2021. So you have less availability, which means what? An increase. This is an average 1-bedroom apartment, predominantly in Toronto because of the price. From $2,100 to $2,500. That's what, 20%? 20% increase from quarter, was it 4? Yeah, from 1 year. So, guys, I feel for the renters. I feel it. Not easy, but guys, this is the cost. There's not a lot of inventory, multiple offers on rentals. That's a thing, very much a thing, and the prices are up. So again, prices are continuing steadily, and probably either going to stay steady or go up. Inventory is increasing for buying. So, guys, you have the proper environment that you guys have been asking for. For years now, I've been hearing buyers say, all I want is more inventory. There's not enough out there. I want more inventory. I want less competition. And I want lower price. All three are right now available to you. The only possible negative is the interest rates. And here's my kind of quick summary. I mean no offense, guys. I love you. Those of you who actually know me that are watching this video, you know I love you. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And I don't know who that horse is, but I love horses, so that's fine. Here's the point. I can only give information. What you do with that information is entirely up to you. If you want, have a conversation with me. My contact information is always at the bottom of the email. Onward. So, buyers, I've been really kind of hammering at you, and I mean no disrespect. Those of you thinking of moving at all, if you're sellers, possibly you have property you're going to sell, consider. Inventory is higher and increasing. That's just reality. You've seen the numbers. Competition is minimal, but the demand is there. They're just hesitating. Just like you're hesitating, thousands of others are also just hesitating. Really, they shouldn't. They should come in. But as for now, the competition is minimal by GTA standards. Prices of homes are on average where they were 2 years ago. You saw the stats. You saw the numbers before. Feel free to rewind and go back there. So in 2 years, same prices. That's unheard of in the GTA. Never mind other places, in the U.S. or Canada. This is the GTA we're talking about. While mortgage interest rates are higher, you can always get a 1 or 2 year mortgage, then refinance at the future lower interest rates, which is inevitably what it's going to be. It's going to be flattened or it's going to go down. So more options, lower prices, less competition. So this is literally what most buyers have been asking for over the past few years. So you're in there. So consider that when you refinance in a year or two at a lower mortgage rate, I don't know, 3.5, under 4, maybe under 3, but I'm not certainly not saying. Let's say, I don't know, 1% lower, whenever it is, a year or two from now. You bought it lower. You already bid tons of equity because you know the market's going to go up at some point in time anyway. You've seen the stats for the prices. You bought it low. Now you're going to have a lower interest rate and all that tons of equity. That's awesome. All you have to do is start taking action. Now, sellers, I haven't left you out. I know you're on the market. I've seen many of you. I've talked to some of you. Be realistic about the price. But, and this is a big but. Unless you're and talk to me about this. Give me a shout. Unless you're in an area where you're desperate, you have to sell for whatever reason. Deal with it. Don't cave to the pressure. There's going to be people, some realtors, not me, that are going to come at you and try to gouge you. Market's going to crash. You need to sell right now. That's what they're going to tell you. That's what some news artists are going to tell you. Maybe the phone is telling you that. Don't cave to the pressure if you don't have to. I got clients right now. Got specific things that we want to do. Are they realistic? Yes. That's what we're going to stick to. We're not falling for lowball offers. And they're going to come. Remember that you're also buying in the same market. If you have higher expectations and now you're becoming more realistic, but you're not falling to pressure, but you're becoming realistic, I'm not going to get what I thought I was going to get certainly this time last year. Fine. Please understand that if you're selling and you're buying in the same market, the same thing is happening on the buy side. You're not really losing out. Keep that in mind. If you're all selling and buying in this market or somewhere near it, make sure your home looks good, especially on pictures. Please don't overstage. Just this morning, I've talked to clients who saw properties saying, Andrew, why are they staging so much? Why is there so much stuff? My stagers are adamant, they're professionals, are adamant about not overstaging, making things look very cluttered and small. Look, stagers, if you're watching this, I know you want to do a good job. Don't overdo it. Okay? The focus is on the house, not how many flowers or whatever it is that's in the house. You don't want to make properties look small. So sellers, take a note. Feel free to call me. Even if you're listed with somebody else, I can give you some tips because I have great stagers who have taught me how to stage. And of course, I leave it to the professionals. I just know some of the stuff myself. There's a lot of demand out there, but it's pent up. Some of you guys are included in that. See my frustrations in the previous slide. So please, sellers, be patient. If you're going to hit the market, be patient. Of course, hopefully you're with me, then you would know this already. But if not, take note. Don't forget, please, just as a way to encourage you, don't forget how much equity you've gained over the past few years. I know you could have gained more if you sold last year, but you probably would have been also buying in the same market, which would have been also difficult. So maybe some pros, maybe some cons. Guys, don't forget how much equity you've built. So I hope that's some encouragement. Sellers, honestly, it's a decent market. You saw the numbers. Feel free to rewind. Honestly, those are TREB numbers. I'm putting none of my own stuff in here. And as always, guys, I wish you a fantastic rest of February. I want to do this again. I do try to provide valuable information. Guys, watch this. Uh, Honestly, this versus what you hear on the news, what you see in the articles and that kind of thing, and certainly if you read any of the comments underneath some of the articles, oh heavens, people think the sky's going to fall. Guys, the sky's not falling to the best of my knowledge. I'm not a sky professional. However, I do provide good information. And listen, it's been fairly accurate. I mean, I've been pretty close, with the exception of sales last year in terms of the crazy stuff that people did with interest rates. I was pretty close, pretty dead on. So my information is always under the listing. Feel free to contact me. Any questions you have, hit like and subscribe, please. And of course, I got the program, and that'll you can check your neighbors, what the neighbors sold their home for, what they're selling it for, that kind of information. It's in the link at the bottom of the email. So till then, till next month, guys, I wish you a fantastic rest of February. Stay warm, as it looks like it's warming up finally. Again, I'm here for any questions. Take care of yourselves, guys. Don't get too discouraged. Don't let me get to you here. But I want to light a little fire on you. Take care, guys.